Aloha, this is Sky, the Soulful Progressive with FNN-Feminist News Network, the Feminist News that's right for you. Welcome to Sky in the Rainbow Room at night. Alright, giving you that soulful news you need, yes indeed. And if you haven't liked and subscribed today and got it that soulful way, please do. Alright, now what do I want to talk to you about today? Chelsea Manning. Let's get straight to it. Now, this girl has been locked up yet again. Now, we were fighting hard for a long time to get to the point to where we got Obama to go ahead and commute her sentence down to 7 years, which was 7 years of hell for telling the truth about military killing and laughing. White military killing and laughing at Reuters reporters and brown people of color like they were playing video games, not taking into account anything they were doing that was breaking international law. Alright, so thereafter, Julian Assange, of course. And America has been after him ever since he's moved into the Ecuadorian embassy. Now, we're going to take a look at what Democracy Now! Says. Now, I've seen what has gone down in regards to what he said with Real News, but I like what Democracy Now! Has put down. So we're going to take a look, listen to a little bit of Glenn Greenwald, because they talked to him today, and we're going to find out what's going down, and then discuss. Alright.
U.S. Army whistleblower Chelsea Manning has been sent back to jail after refusing to answer questions before a grand jury investigating WikiLeaks and its founder, Julian Assange, and Pentagon documents about the U.S. wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Manning was imprisoned from 2010 to 2017 for the leak. President Obama commuted her sentence before he left office. Chelsea Manning briefly spoke to reporters on Friday on her way into court.
So this is a contempt hearing. It's a sealed hearing. The public isn't allowed. The proceedings are going to happen in secret. The filings are sealed, so can't really talk about the specifics of what's going on beyond what we explained in the statement. But I'm pretty confident that we have a basis and a grounds on which to oppose this.
And you said in your statement you're prepared to go to jail for this.
If it comes to that, yeah. If it comes to that, it comes to that. If it comes to going, I might not leave here today, free. So.
In a written statement, Chelsea Manning later said, quote, "I will not comply with this or any other grand jury. Imprisoning me for my refusal to answer questions only subjects me to additional punishment for my repeatedly stated ethical objections to the grand jury system. The grand jury's questions pertain to disclosures from 9 years ago and took place 6 years after an in-depth computer forensics case in which I testified for almost a full day about these events. I stand by my previous public testimony," she wrote, with Pentagon Papers whistleblower Daniel Ellsberg at his home in California.
This is a continuation of 7.5 years of torture of Chelsea Manning in an effort to get her to contribute to incriminating WikiLeaks so that they can bring Julian Assange or WikiLeaks to trial on charges that would not apply to the New York Times. It's been speculated for years now that the secret charges, if they did exist, and apparently they do exist, against Julian Assange, were under the same charges that I was the first person to be prosecuted for back in 1971. So he wants to find charges against Julian that would be different from mine, because if he brought the same charges that he brought against me, in this case against a journalist, it would clearly be found unconstitutional. They wanted to contradict her earlier sworn testimony many times, that she behaved in relation to WikiLeaks exactly as she would have to the New York Times or the Washington Post, to whom she went first before going to WikiLeaks, and they didn't pick up on what she was offering, so she went to WikiLeaks. But she took sole responsibility not to spare them, but because that was the truth, and she tells the truth.
We turn right now to Glenn Greenwald, speaking to us from Brazil.
I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that Chelsea Manning is extraordinarily heroic. She's demonstrated that repeatedly over the last decade in all kinds of ways. But what she's doing here is really remarkable because the context is that the Trump administration is trying to do what the Obama administration tried to do, but ultimately concluded it couldn't do without jeopardizing press freedoms. And yet here we have what is really a grave threat to press freedom, the attempt to make it a felony to publish classified material, which is what WikiLeaks did. Even the anti-press freedom Obama administration said this was a bridge too far for us. Chelsea Manning is not just opposing it, she's opposing it to the point where she refuses to participate in it, even if it means, as it now does, that she's going to be jailed for being in contempt of court for refusing to comply with the subpoena. We all owe our immense gratitude to Chelsea Manning for everything she's done over the last decade, but even more so now.
Wow. Did you see that? Did you hear that? Unbelievable. Now, of course, her attorney is going to fight against this and try to mute and end this suffering that she is going through. Now, because she did, because she was offered immunity, she is revoked from using the Fifth Amendment. Now, she used the First, Fourth, and Sixth. You're wondering, what are those? Well, let's get a quick lesson. Now, we know the First Amendment is the religion, right? Right to have any you want. Worship whatever you like. So, yeah, like the Fourth Amendment is in regards to reasonable search and seizure, you know, and that's what they're doing. They're unreasonably hounding her when she already gave testimony to a grand jury during her original arrest and prosecution. And the Sixth Amendment, which is, you know, reasonable rights during a criminal prosecution. We've already talked about that. Okay, so with all said and done, let's get to the meat of this matter in regards to Chelsea Manning. Glenn Greenwald was absolutely right in what he said. You know, it's clear that the U.S. is dancing around procedures, protocol, and legalities of law to get and have their way, and to pull out a 1917 act in law that Obama pulled out like he was pulling it out of his butt when he was in office, to use that Patriot Act that hadn't been used since the First World War is wrong. We know we need to get rid of that, but with a Republican-led Senate, there's no way. Obama should have got rid of it, but he was nothing but blackface on the New World Order anyway, so he never even thought of getting rid of it. What he did was get rid of Miranda rights, which makes having the Fourth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment a little bit difficult because nobody seems to want to follow it. Now, if you agree that Chelsea needs to be released, just like Julian Assange needs to be let go safely without prosecution from grabbing him, BBC grabbing him for America for some secretive trial and prosecution, leave comments below and let me know. At FeministNewsN at gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube page and the YouTube channel. And remember, I'm on Patreon. I got the PayPal Me, Feminist News Network for the one-woman team. Alright, I appreciate that if you want to donate. And we got the t-shirts, and also remember the Soulful Progressive on Twitter. And now I got Feminist News Rant of the Day on Blogger. Check the ones that I have out there. They're awesome. I'm talking about mortality rates, living wage, and things that we should have experienced during Black History Month and acknowledged. All right, check out those blogs. Now, remember, in this era of hate, you got to participate, because if not, it will cost Chelsea Manning her faith. And I know that's right. So stand behind those that stand behind Chelsea. All right, I'll have links below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining.